Welcome to the Juice Box with Juice Springsteen, covering the week that was in professional wrestling. And hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Juice Box. I am Juice Springsteen. It is frigid. It is going to be a chaotic winter weather weekend. It's also championship weekend for the NFL. But most importantly, it's Rumble season, and we have Saturday night's main event tomorrow night. Or if you're listening to it on Saturday, tonight, Montreal, Quebec, Canada, 4 matches. Somewhat stacked card with a late match added during SmackDown. And I am actually very excited to discuss this development, this added match. And we'll talk about that all here in a moment, as we will have the Saturday night's main event predictions show right here on the Juice Box. Follow me on Twitter at JuicySteen, at Juicy Wrestling Closet on Instagram. Subscribe to the show on YouTube at JuicySteen. You can listen to the show, juicysteen.podbean.com. Listen on Spotify or Amazon Music as well. And if you do listen to it on Apple Podcasts via iTunes or on Spotify, please leave a rating and review. It does help the show grow. As I said, Saturday night's main event coming up. We've got 4 matches on this show. It's not a PLE, but it's a pseudo PLE, especially considering Royal Rumble next week will likely have 4 matches only. It's going to have the men's Royal Rumble, the women's Royal Rumble, Drew McIntyre versus the winner of the Fatal 4-Way here for Saturday night's main event that we'll discuss, and a career-threatening match between AJ Styles and Gunther. So let's dive into the card. Saturday night's main event. Man, the build, quote-unquote, for the Rumble, I would wager, has been lackluster. As if the Rumble needs building, I think the Royal Rumble match sells itself. But that being said, only a few people have announced for the Rumble and declared to be in it. A couple of matches are being set up for it. We have the AJ Styles Gunther match, like I said, and of course the Drew McIntyre WWE title defense, which coming into 2026 I wouldn't have said was possible, but Drew McIntyre winning the WWE Championship on an episode of SmackDown earlier this month. And we've got one hell of a Fatal 4-Way to determine who will take on one Drew McIntyre next week in Riyadh at the Royal Rumble. We'll get to that match last, though, as I do believe it is the main event. Saturday night's main event, if you will. Let's kick things off. Tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, your champions, taking on the Judgment Day, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. When Rhea and Io got these championships, I believe it was pretty telegraphed to assume these 2 women, more than likely, are going to walk into WrestleMania as the champions, purely based on star power, name recognition, the fact that Rhea Ripley and Io Sky are so incredibly over right now, and to guarantee a spot on the WrestleMania card, I think is a layup if you're WWE. So having them as tag champions would, guarantee that. Now, I will say this. I'm not ruling out a Rhea Ripley singles match at WrestleMania either. That's also an option. They could lose these titles at some point. However, a Liv Morgan could win the Rumble, I also think. So, that is in play as well. I I feel like at least in this particular match, Rhea and Io will retain their championships. And like I said, we're going to talk Royal Rumble next week, but I have a suspicion Liv Morgan could be in the final four of the Royal Rumble, to where, this tag run is moot and you get a world title shot. Maybe Rhea and Io lose the tag titles at some point. Rhea would gain a championship, and then Liv challenges right then and there. But who knows? I've got Rhea and Io winning and retaining the tag team titles. Singles match, Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu. Now, the interesting part about this, Jacob Fatu has presented himself as a tweener. He returned by interfering in the Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes WWE Championship 3 Stages of Hell final stage, which of course was the steel cage match. And initially came in, and what he did was affect Drew McIntyre first and foremost. He kind of threw Drew off, and even though that was a nice distraction, Cody Rhodes also got somewhat distracted, got involved with Jacob Fatu there, and as that distraction was happening, Cody Rhodes slipped his mind. He was distracted. Jacob Fatu, got in his mind and, quite physically got involved. And Drew McIntyre rolls out of the cage, wins the WWE Championship. And, now we get this match between Jacob and Cody, where I see both those men as babyfaces. I've said Cody Rhodes unequivocally is a better chase guy than he is the champion, as unfortunate as that might be. That being said, I love this match because it is two pretty much top baby faces, whether we, because I won't consider Cody Rhodes a heel just yet. And Jacob Fatu, although he has heel tendencies, I could see Jacob Fatu being a huge babyface down the line. And I don't even want to say this, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. I think Jacob Fatu is my early 2027 Royal Rumble winner. That's what I'm saying. I'm marking it down right now. A week out of the 2026 Rumble, I am saying Jacob Fatu will win the 2027 Royal Rumble. All that being said, I could see this match going to a no contest. I don't know if that means, they're going to get involved in the Rumble shenanigans, I'm sure. And they might cancel each other out there. We've heard rumors that you could have a triple threat between Cody, Jacob Fatu, and Drew McIntyre. I don't know if that's the case either. I'm willing to see what comes down the pike between these three men. But I'm very intrigued. I will say that. I'm very intrigued as to what exactly happens in this particular match and what transpires going forward with the Rumble, with Drew. We'll talk about his challenger here in a moment. Announced on SmackDown at the 11th hour, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, 1-on-1. These two men have had such an amazing career path together. These two men wrestled Wrestle Kingdom 10, one of the greatest matches I've ever seen, personally. I remember watching it live, New Japan World, like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, whatever it was. AJ Styles goes to WWE. Shinsuke goes to NXT. They both end up in WWE. They have the feud in 2018. And even though that was lackluster, I think they ran it back within a few years of that for other titles. But at this stage, when AJ Styles next week has a career-threatening match a la Ric Flair, where it's just a regular one-on-one match, but if AJ loses, he will retire. And he's already stated that 2026 will be his last full year with WWE. I have a feeling that, AJ Styles could end his career with TNA, which I think would be incredible. I don't know if that's where they're going to go. Like I said, we'll talk about the Royal Rumble next week. But with AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura here, you got to think this is going to be potentially their last match together, one-on-one, especially in WWE. So I'm going to give the go-ahead to AJ Styles as winning this match. I could see Gunther making an appearance, distracting AJ, maybe costing AJ the match against Nakamura, having AJ Styles going into the Gunther match as a slight underdog, pissed off that Gunther, cost him that match, and now you want to take my career. I could see that. But to me, I think you just let this match play as is, on paper, in the ring. Let these guys have 15 minutes and give me AJ Styles winning the match. Whether it's a phenomenal forearm or a Styles clash, I will take it. If you give me a nod to their Wrestle Kingdom match where AJ Styles does the Bullet Club thing, shoots the bullet, and Nakamura catches it and eats it, give me that. Give me every, homage to their past. I'm here for it. I'm taking AJ Styles with the win. And going on to take on Gunther next week. We'll predict it when we get there. But I'm not too sure AJ Styles walks out of the Royal Rumble PLE with his career intact. Let's just say that. And finally, let's get into it. What I think should be and will be the main event of Saturday night's Main Event Live. Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Bell Center. Hometown boy Sami Zayn versus Damian Priest versus Trick Williams versus Randy Orton. Winner takes on Drew McIntyre for the WWE title at the Royal Rumble. There's no disqualifications in a fatal 4-way. Therefore, anybody could interfere. It doesn't matter. So, here's how I look at it. I think Sami Zayn could potentially be on the cusp of a lot of things. Hear me out. I think Sami Zayn could win this match and take on Drew in Riyadh and come up short. I could see Sami Zayn losing this match in Montreal, winning the Royal Rumble in Riyadh, and winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. I could see Sami Zayn winning this match in Montreal, winning the match in Riyadh, and then maybe you get Cody Rhodes as the Rumble winner, and you get Cody and Sami, something to that effect. Hell, we could even see Sami Zayn lose the match here in Montreal. No, win the match in Montreal, go to Riyadh, lose the match against Drew, and then somehow, some way, maybe he wins the Rumble next year, finds his way to WrestleMania 43 in Riyadh, and potentially wins the World Championship there. I could see any of those things happening because I do see Sami Zayn as World Champion, by the end of WrestleMania 43. So within about a year and 4 months, I think Sami Zayn will win the world title at some point. That being said, I think the move here is for Sami Zayn to not win the match in Montreal. Randy Orton will win the match. That is my opinion. That's my choice. That's my pick. And Orton will then go on to take on Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble in a losing effort. I'd like to see, I could see Orton winning that and maybe even get Cody winning the Rumble again, which would be the third Rumble win for Cody. And then you get your Cody-Orton match at WrestleMania. But Cody could, win the Chamber and have that match against Randy if that's the case. There's a lot of factors in play. But they've been playing up this Drew-Sammy thing. And this is how I'll conclude my predictions and thoughts on this match as we wrap up this, quick Saturday night's main event prediction show here on the Juice Box. Royal Rumble next week. We're approaching episode 200 of the Juice Box. Shout out to everybody that's helped us get to where we are. But SmackDown ended with, Priest and Trick Williams in a DQ. Sami Zayn gets involved. And then Trick Williams stands tall. Randy Orton hits the RKO. And then he hits Sami Zayn with an RKO. Randy Orton stands tall at the end of the night. Yet, earlier in the night, Sami Zayn slapped Drew McIntyre right in the face. Backstage, unprovoked. Well, not unprovoked. At least unprovoked in face-to-face because Sami Zayn probably felt insulted when Drew McIntyre said that Sami's child would be embarrassed to have a father like Sami Zayn. So I can see where that slap was warranted. But to me, it's one of two things. Either the slap will piss Drew off in a way that he interferes in this fatal four-way and cost Sami Zayn, which could lead to even a triple threat at the Royal Rumble. I wouldn't rule that out either. Or cost Sami Zayn altogether, and Sami Zayn does not win this match. One of the other three guys do. Maybe Trick, Damian, or Orton win. I still think Orton's the best opportunity just of the three left if it's not Sami. But with the traditional tropes of pro wrestling, Randy Orton getting, the best out of everybody in the final segment on top normally means they ain't going to win. And with Sami having the moment backstage with Drew, he's pissed off at Drew. He gets RKO'd at the end of the night. Maybe it is Sami's time, and Sami does win this match to take on Drew at the Rumble. What I'm also curious to is, could Sami Zayn be in the Royal Rumble even if he loses that WWE Championship match? Assuming the WWE Championship match is earlier in the night, I think it's very plausible Sami Zayn could be in the Royal Rumble. In fact, I would love if Sami Zayn lost the WWE Championship match in the Royal Rumble at Royal Rumble to Drew McIntyre in Riyadh, only to then win the Royal Rumble and get another crack at it at WrestleMania. So I'm really not sure what WWE is going to do, but I'm looking forward to Saturday night's main event. I'm going to select Randy Orton. I'm not shocked if Sami Zayn were to win. And Trick Williams, Damian Priest, I just don't think it's their time to have a moment against Drew McIntyre right now. They won their respective matches to get to this spot, but I don't think it's going to go much further than that. And that being said, I would be shocked if either Trick or Priest win this match and go on to the Royal Rumble in Riyadh to take on Drew McIntyre. So I've got Randy Orton winning. I've got AJ Styles defeating Shinsuke Nakamura. I've got Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu ending in a schmazole, DQ, double count out, something to that effect. But a good match. And then I have Rhea Ripley and Io Sky retaining the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Not sure if we're going to get another segment in this show. I doubt they had another match, especially with the very late edition the night before for the AJ Styles Shinsuke Nakamura match. But I'm here for that. I cannot wait for that. And with a weekend like we're going to get, super cold, if you're on the East Coast all the way to Texas and in the Midwest, you're going to get snow, you're going to get ice, you're going to get very low temperatures. You've got Saturday night's main event. You got UFC on Paramount debuting. You've got the AFC and NFC championship games this weekend. Sit back, relax, don't shovel the snow until you absolutely have to, and enjoy some great action across the sports and entertainment realm. As always, I am Juice Springsteen. Follow me on Twitter at Juicy Steen, at Juicy Wrestling Closet on Instagram, at Juicy Steen on YouTube. Listen to the show, The Juice Box, on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, juicysteen.podbean.com, and, of course, on YouTube. If you do listen to the show via Spotify or on Apple Podcasts through iTunes, please leave a rating and review. It helps the show grow, and I really appreciate the feedback wholeheartedly. Always you can chat with me on Twitter. I'm always there during shows, live tweeting, interacting with everybody out there. getting my wrestling takes in, bounced off of, disputed, hated, loved, argued with, bantered for, and everything in between. I really appreciate you guys listening to the Juice Box this week. This little amended Saturday night's main event prediction show version of the Juice Box. And I'll see you guys next week with the Royal Rumble prediction show next week, right here on the Juice Box. That was the Juice Box with Juice Springsteen. Make sure to subscribe to the Juice Box wherever you listen to podcasts.